So this is a rumor that I found a bit interesting and something that I'm still kind of skeptical about, but I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens in the next couple of years or so. But apparently, 2K is actually trying to ramp up development for Bioshock 4. And for those who don't know, the Bioshock series has been around since 2007. The last main installment we got was back in 2013, and that was Bioshock Infinite. And I think that game did like around like 11 million in sales worldwide across multiple consoles like PS4, Xbox One, 360, PlayStation 3, all that. And a lot of people feel like 2K, could have made a sequel to this game like years ago, like sometime in the late teens or sometime within the past few years. But we haven't heard anything about development of a Bioshock 4. But I mean, I feel like the series definitely has the name value to, I guess, attract enough people who are casuals. But we have no idea on what it's going to be about, if it's going to follow a particular game, if it's going to be a prequel or a sequel to anything. Um, it's going to be pretty hard to follow up Bioshock Infinite, and the level of success that it had. And like in terms of like story and all that, a lot of people like the original one, and it's considered to be iconic for the most part, mainly because of the plot and the rapture and the twist ending, and the fact that it was a first-person shooter game that ended up being way more popular than many people expected, to a point where it's a cult classic for the most part. And I'm not even sure if the original game got like a remake or anything like that. And like when it comes down to like 2K games and their IPs and stuff like that, I would say outside of the likes of the Mafia series, the Darkness series, and like any of the sports games, that Bioshock is one of their more memorable IPs, and it's a bit shocking that we never got like a sequel for this game. And at this point, I'm not convinced that we're going to get a sequel for Bioshock Infinite until like around the same time like Fallout 5 comes out or whatever. We still have no idea when the hell that's coming out. We haven't even seen a trailer for Fallout 5. And and I do feel like, first person shooters in general are still like, big attractions in this day and age, because I would take a brand new BioShock game um over like these indie overrated first person shooters that's shoved down your throat and no one really talks about that much, even though it's always being talked about by gaming websites and all that stuff. But yeah, I feel like there's still a lot of money on the table to be made with the Bioshock series. I feel like, 2K Games should have done something with this a long time ago. And to hear rumors about them trying to ramp up developers and all that stuff, to me is astounding, because at this point, I figured that 2K Games just forgot about it and they just decided that they didn't really care about it. But apparently, um, I believe it was announced by an executive within 2K that they were going to be working on a new Bioshock entry, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people took that with a grain of salt, because a lot of things have happened since then, and I think for the most part the landscape of gaming has changed to a point where even though first-person shooters are popular, they still don't have the level of popularity they did back in the 2000s. So we're gonna have to wait and see, what comes of this news, whether or not there's going to be any announcements or anything like that concerning a potential Bioshock 4 game in the future. And and honestly, it's one of those things where it's like I won't believe it until I see it. Like I remember about 7 months ago or something like that, I made a video based off of a rumor that I heard. Apparently, like there was supposed to be like a Bioshock movie coming to Netflix, but I haven't heard too much about that. I'm still keeping my fingers crossed that one. I hope it's not it's not something that's completely made up. I'm hoping it's something that materializes and then we learn more about it because if it is true, we do get a Bioshock movie on Netflix sometime within the next year or two, then I can definitely have more confidence that we're going to get a Bioshock 4 because it tells me that obviously something's being done with the franchise and it's not just going to waste away. It's not going to be one of those video game franchises where it's dead for 20 years and all of a sudden developers want to bring it back because the last Bioshock game came out more than a decade ago, and that's not too long. But maybe maybe the franchise kind of needed that hiatus, because when 2K decides to bring it back and do something big with it, um, it's probably going to be something that breaks the internet. It's going to break social media. It's going to be a big deal. It's going to trend everywhere. And I'm pretty sure it's going to do big numbers. But the question is, will we see this game before the end of the decade? Because right now we're about halfway through the decade, 2024, and in a couple of months we're going into 2025. So I'm wondering whether or not we're going to get a Bioshock game before 2030 because you know 2013 was actually a long time ago. That's like a decade ago, and I do feel that 2K could do something big with it before the end of the 2020s decade.